Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of ZB's Horsepower Talk. As always, I'm ZB, Zack Brown, and joining with me, as always, former 410 Sprint Car crew chief and mechanic, Jeff Brown. Dad, we've got a lot to go over from a packed weekend of racing, even more packed weekend to preview. So we're going to go ahead, jump right in, talk about Las Vegas, all three NASCAR series there, and all of them had really good racing throughout the weekend.
Yeah, the racing's been pretty good. Even the truck series was a pretty good race. It wasn't a complete crash fest, the whole deal. The worst race was probably the Cup race, where we're Larson fans, so we liked it, but he kind of stunk up the show. But hey, Tyler Reddick kept him honest there the whole time. So
yeah,
between those two cars were by far the class of the field.
Well, first, let's touch on the truck series because I've got it here. Want to give a quick congratulations to Raja Carruth going from iRacing to one of the premier NASCAR series winners finally. Only 21 years old, and he actually was joking in his post-race press conference that he's hoping he got an extension on his homework that he had to do because he's still technically in college. So shout out to him. Really cool to see that. Really good guy. It sounds like he's great in interviews. I was listening to him on some podcasts this week. So hopefully maybe we're trying to put in to get him to come onto the show as a little guest show as well. So we'll see. To be determined on that. But congrats on that. Started on the pole, but it was by far not the best truck all day. And it was kind of like how most of the races were. It started off with somebody was dominant throughout the race, and then other trucks and cars were kind of getting faster and faster as it went on. Raja was able to prevail with some pit road strategy and come out with the win. I love Las Vegas at the nighttime for that. So I wish the Cup race, it would have been like Xfinity and then Cup race Saturday night would have been awesome. But Xfinity race, John Hunter Nemechek comes back to the Xfinity and takes the win. I really say takes the win from Chandler Smith because that was the fastest car throughout the weekend. So two big winners right there. And of course, our driver, Kyle Larson, dominates once again at Las Vegas, showing Hendrick's domination at that racetrack. But again, like we said, by no means he was not the fastest car, especially at the very end. Tyler Reddick was rolling quick, but Larson kind of outmaneuvered him towards the end.
Yeah, the one thing Larson kind of had a problem with the last couple of years is getting down to the end of the race and finishing the race. I think he did a really good job of doing what he needed to do. He kept the air off the front of the nose of Tyler Reddick by taking away his line. And the one time Tyler Reddick kind of got close to him, he kind of pushed, and that was it. That was all that she wrote. And that all comes down to the pit crew. If Tyler, that last pit stop, if Tyler Reddick beats Larson out, Tyler Reddick probably wins that race.
Yeah, if he had a little bit faster, because Larson was able to extend that lead, and it was one of the green flag runs too. So, beginning of the race, tires were an issue. You saw with Christopher Bell, and they were saying, hey, it was quite possibly due to not having enough air pressure in the tires, and that was a problem with him. Chris Buescher had some issues there, a lot of issues throughout the field. So, you had to kind of figure out, the crew did, what's the best pressure to have it as, because you can't have too low, it's going to blow, but you want to have it low enough where it still has enough speed.
Yeah, I think maybe it was even a little more than air pressure. I believe it was probably had something to do with rear camber. These cars, they can be adjusted. If you don't know, cambers, when the tires will tip in or tip out, you get a little bit one way or the other, and all of a sudden it wears the wrong spot just the wrong way, and then boom, you get a tire that explodes. So it only seemed to be the right rear. And now they do have different tires for left and right sides on that track. So I think they brought a new left rear tire, if I'm not mistaken. So I got a feeling next time they come back, you're going to see Goodyear with a new right rear tire just to kind of help with the issues. But it was only a few cars, and there's where the heartbreaker for Corey LaJoie, running real well, and he blows a tire and crashes. He was running in the top 10 probably all day.
And one of the highlights of it, I guess lowlights, if you're a William Byron fan, a freaking trash bag comes out and just smacks you right in the grill, and you have to get that off, because there was no way that was going to come off, even with drafting with somebody. That thing was just a massive just obstruction for that. but he comes all the way back and gets a top 10 finish, because if there was one that was going to end up beating Larson that race, besides Reddick, it was going to be William Byron.
Yeah. And when we say trash bag, we mean one of those big.
It was a trash bag. It was like a
big
legit
black, leaf bags. It wasn't
hefty
like
bag.
A Walmart bag. It was it covered the whole front of the thing. It looked like they put a wrap on the front of the thing. That was wild.
And that's all about.
And I hate seeing that. And it's like, is there something NASCAR should do? Because it's.
But what can you really do? You can't really control the weather. They had 20, 30 mile an hour wind gusts in Las Vegas, and you're in the middle of the desert too. So there's probably just a bunch of crap that's in the middle of the desert that's spinning all the way around and can get onto the track. Not a whole lot you can really do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just luck. It's luck of the draw. Just like when tires blow. I mean, just kind of, it's something that happens. It's a part of racing, and it's just something you have to deal with. And they obviously were able to bounce back and get a top 10 finish. Penalties for Kyle Busch. He was one that was coming up through the field and possibly contending for a top 5. And of course, he has a pit road penalty. He did the same thing in the truck race, a similar thing in the truck race. So that's a big thing. But the news of NASCAR right now, Chevy is 3 for 3 to start off the year. So that is starting off strong. That is very, very impressive. We'll see. We'll preview Phoenix in a little while, see if we think another manufacturer can overcome the Chevys this year and see what they can do about that. But going into the dirt racing right now, talking about, they only had one race for the Outlaw show this weekend. There was a rain out on Sunday. So it was the second week of Volusia. Donnie Schatz gets his 500 sprint car feature win. And it sounds like a lot, but when you compare it to Steve Kinser, not so much. But Donnie Schatz had to running second, running up with Buddy Kofoid. Buddy Kofoid blows a left rear tire. A couple left rear tires blew in that race. So that was a bunch of it.
Yeah, it was kind of strange. The track didn't look like it was that hard that the tires should have been blowing, but there was several of them. And as far as the Outlaw shows that we've seen recently, that was probably one of the worst ones. I think if Buddy Kofoid does not blow that tire, he leads every lap in that thing. So it didn't seem like there was going to be a whole lot of passing there. But yeah, congratulations, Donnie Schatz, 500 wins. I think it's like 380 Outlaw wins that he's got, which is a crazy amount of wins. And he did everything right. His tire didn't go flat. So, but there's where we talked about, why doesn't Volusia run a little more often? Well, they had 18 cars.
Yeah.
Not thinking about there really are no 410 sprint cars down here in Florida to make a full field.
It doesn't help that you can't get a lot of out-of-state people coming into for a Sunday and Monday show either. So that could be a big part of it. It's easier for these teams if they want to take a weekend and come there. But when you're at starting of a week, and a lot of these teams, smaller teams, they have to get to their regular jobs, and it's just hard to make it to those shows. You would have seen a lot more, I think, if it was a Friday, Saturday, but a little bit different when it's a Sunday, Monday.
Pennsylvania's racing, so there's none of those cars are going to come down.
Yeah, true. Yeah. And all right, before we continue, got to give a shout out to a new partner of ours, Viator. If you want a website that organizes all of your travel needs into an easy search engine, go check out Viator.com. There's a link in the description. Check out the fabulous Las Vegas. Tour Italy. See the Coliseum. Anywhere in the world, Viator is where you need to go to get your trip set up. Check the link in the description. Get you a place booked. Have some fun with it. Back to the show. All right, well, we're going to preview the Outlaws at a track that they are making their debut on, and maybe it's just me, but kind of looks like a little small version of Knoxville-ish type thing. It's from seeing I guess it was a 305 highlight I've seen on YouTube. They're going to Kennedale Speedway Park in Texas.
Yeah, little quarter-mile bull ring. I used to not like these little quarter miles, but they have been putting on hell of a shows on these things. And I think this is going to be a wild race. I think you're going to see sliders put on, cars high, cars low, get through, 24, 25 cars on this thing, get lap traffic within about 2 laps. Leaders are going to, and in outlaw racing, you can't back off for nobody. So you back off one time, you're passed. So it's going to. I think this is going to be an exciting race. I think they're going to probably pack this. I don't know how many stands the place have, but I think they're going to pack the place to come see World of Outlaws there. They had to replace Devil's Bowl with something. This might be a good track for them. Hopefully the track surface is prepared nice. I know they're not used to running 410, so hopefully I know the Outlaws do have a little say in kind of what they want to do. So hopefully the equipment's good. The track's nice. You know, you want to see it to where it has a bottom and then maybe a slight cushion hole around the outside. That way you get the multiple grooves and the slide jobs going. So I think this is going to be. I'm hoping it's going to be a good show.
I feel like it's from just seeing it, it's a very flat track. So I think a big key to winning this race and running well is going to be how well your car is going to handle on the bottom. Especially, you see it a lot of times in these flat tracks. If your car can hook up on the bottom, you can make it work, and usually that leads to a lot of success. And then obviously you're going to get some people that can try to balls it around the outside, but there might not be a cushion. So you've got to be able to figure it out on the bottom, I think, in this track. And like I said, from what it looked like on just outside looking in, looked like a mini version of Knoxville. So maybe even some sort of preview towards Knoxville this year for these drivers. And at least to kind of get an idea how they want their setup. The dirt looked very similar to what they have up in Iowa.
Yeah, I didn't really see anything about how much banking they have. It's a little hard to tell from YouTube. So
not much.
If it's flat and there's no cushion, it's probably going to be tight around the bottom. So I'm hoping that, like, if it's flat is what it looks like, they better have a cushion. I think the racing may be a little worse because without having any banking, there's nothing to haul around on the outside with it. It's going to be really hard to stick out there.
Yep.
So bottom could be key.
Well, that being said, it's called the Cowtown Classic. So hell yeah. So if that doesn't give away Texas, then nothing will. Cowtown Classic, 2 nights of racing. Let's go over who you got night 1, night 2 going into Friday, Saturday.
Well, I picked this guy to win on Monday, so we're just going to go ahead and stick with him. I got Sheldon Haudenschild for Friday, and a little bit of a sleeper, being that we think maybe the bottom might be the way to go. Saturday might be a little slicker. I got none other than Bobby Allen's grandson, Logan Schuchart.
All right.
Running the bottom.
I am doubling down on a driver for both nights. The way we were talking about, we think the bottom's going to prevail. One driver that just makes the bottom look so easy in the Outlaws. Guy that just got his 500th win. I'm going Donnie Schatz back-to-back nights to take the Cowtown Classic.
Well, he's pretty good at coming to these new tracks and that nobody's run before, and just the sheer experience that he's got. These guys they're not even close to that. So yeah, that's a good pick.
And I'm thinking he's kind of a little bit on a revenge tour. They kind of reset after last year. They knew it wasn't the results they wanted, and they're coming out a lot stronger this year. I'm expecting a lot of big things out of Donnie Schatz, even contending for the championship. All right. That does it for our dirt racing for this week. High Limits another couple weeks, and we'll just have forever to just take care of previewing stuff. We are going into IndyCars. IndyCars are season opener at St. Pete Grand Prix. Awesome track. We talk about it every year. It's very exciting. A lot of people don't even remember IndyCars coming back on. Make sure you follow IndyCar on their social media stuff, because they do post quite a lot and try to get it ready. But otherwise, you won't really know what's going on. So IndyCar at St. Pete, it's start of a probably another good year, and we got Indy in a couple months, so it's starting to rev up there.
Yeah, this is one. The St. Pete, it's an interesting track because it runs through the airport. Part of it's on the runway, which is kind of cool. Just from like looking at it, you see them coming in, onto the runway. That's kind of wild. But it goes through the streets of St. Petersburg, which is a beautiful, beautiful city, and they pack the place. They're going to get they're expecting 150,000 people coming down to this.
That's insane.
I think Bret Michaels is a pre-race concert coming down, lead singer from Poison. So he's going to be doing that. So this is going to be an interesting thing. One thing, like I said, they advertise on social media a lot. I don't know. In my opinion, I realize this is on NBC. Why not have commercials and air it during a NASCAR race? Just to be like, hey, because people, they're not going to remember. I think it comes on like 12 or 12:30 on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So people get doing run around, people going to church, come back. You might not think about, hey, the race is coming on here. It's kind of a weird time, but
hey, they might be showing it on random cricket events they have on NBC Sports. So we don't know what the commercials they have. So they could very well have that.
I think if you're going to do it, advertise it for, on a racing thing, and even where I'm at, I'm 90 minutes from St. Pete. You see nothing on TV about it. You don't see billboards, anything. So
yeah.
They miss out on their advertising. I think they would do better if people know the thing's on.
And I think it's the same thing with NHRA, which we'll preview here in a minute too. But it's hard to argue with the crowds that they bring. IndyCar, they've improved each and every year, bringing a great crowd and great on track at track experience. And I argue that those two series are better than NASCAR for being at the track as opposed to just watching it on TV. So ratings are what brings the money in overall. I get it, but I think it's going to be an exciting year kicking off at St. Pete. Obviously, the defending series champion, Alex Palou, trying to go back-to-back years. It's hard to do in IndyCar. You don't see it a whole lot. And Marcus Ericsson's the defending race winner here at St. Pete. So let's dive in. We'll give, obviously, our IndyCar picks. So who are you looking at to start off the year right in Indy?
I'm going to take the low-hanging fruit on this one. I'm going to go with Alex Palou.
Okay,
I don't see him
champion.
slowing down. Yeah, I don't see him slowing down.
Well,
although this race does seem to bring race winners that may not win anywhere else throughout the year.
Yeah, and I don't think Marcus Ericsson actually won another race last year. So, like you were saying, it could definitely be a spark that somebody needs, and could be a shocking win. And everybody's on the same playing field right now. Nobody really knows what to expect. It's a brand new year, so you want to start it off right. You might throw some Hail Marys to get into contention to win the race. The race winner I'm going with a guy that's consistent on road courses and street courses. Finished second here last year. I think he gets one spot better. I'm picking Pato O'Ward to win the Indy opener.
That was my two picks on that one.
Yeah.
One interesting thing, if you're on IndyCar's website and you look at their current drivers, Kyle Larson is listed as a current driver for Indy.
Well, technically, yeah. I mean,
I was like, okay, that's cool. There's a lot of them, because I wanted to see who's running, but they don't list, like, there's a lot of drivers on there that are probably only going to run Indy. So,
right.
Like Kyle Larson, there's a bunch of other ones. I was trying to get, who's going to be running the race.
Yeah.
So without really knowing the lineup, as I said, I want the low-hanging fruit guy, Alex Palou.
Yeah, you'll have like 20 couple that are actually full-time drivers, and then you'll probably have a list of at least 36 to 40 that try to enter the Indy 500, and obviously people are going to get their heart broke that don't make it. And they obviously are finishing off this year on the Nashville Super Speedway. I don't know if we touched on that, but that'll be definitely neat to see them at a season finale on an oval. You're not used to seeing that, and I think
that'll be good. That could be a very interesting race, because they normally come down to a pretty tight point race between the top 2 or 3 cars in IndyCar. So you get them on an oval, well, lots of stuff can happen there. That's a fast track for these IndyCars.
We'll definitely be looking forward to that. All right, jumping into drag racing NHRA season opener at the Gator Nationals.
Little different this year. They're not opening up in Pomona, California, so they're coming down here.
I think it's a good move. I think it's a good move, and I like that they have their own West Coast swing, so they'll head over and do their West Coast swing here in a few weeks. But I really like how they are starting off down in Florida. They had some exhibition races and everything, but the biggest news in NHRA is that Tony Stewart is making his debut in Top Fuel, obviously taking over for his wife Leah as they're trying to start a family. So we'll see how Tony transitions from alcohol to Top Fuel. Little bit different.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's we're going from, I don't know, 5,000 horsepower to 11,000 horsepower. So we're talking, major. The one good thing though is his top alcohol dragster, which interesting enough did run nitro. So
Yep.
the staging is going to be very similar because the nitro cars, you don't rev the engine at the starting line and launch. They launch from idle. So just the way that the Top Fuel is, just now he's going to have a supercharger on top of that thing. So I don't see him having very much trouble. And that's pretty much one of the things. If the car goes down the track, you're good. If not, I don't see him having any issues as far as the driving, reaction times, and things like that.
He has success pretty much in anything he drives. I mean, if you have had like Kyle Larson jump one of these, it's the same thing. It's the same type of talent. I really expect Tony. I think Tony will at least get a win or two this year.
I believe that.
And I mean, the equipment's great. It's not like he's jumping into some random smacks out of the garage something. No, it's some good stuff. So I think he'll have a good year. Defending champions, obviously Doug Coletta finally got it done last year, trying to make it a back-to-back. Matt Hagan fast all year long, and he's going to be in contention once again. Erica Enders, I mean, now she's arguably one of the all-time greats now in pro stock. And Gage Herrera lost like 2 races last year. So definitely, I mean, I would have to say these are going to end up being the favorites to start off the year because you're defending champion. I feel like you start off the favorites, but I think Top Fuel, there's a lot of drivers that can get it done this year, and we'll definitely see where it will bring us.
Yeah, I didn't plan it this way when I was making my picks, but yeah, I got all 4 defending champions.
Well, yeah, go ahead. Actually, yeah. So that kind of gives.
I didn't even realize it till you were saying that. I was like, oh.
Well, yeah, quick. You can, I guess, quick talk about your picks. What I just said, in case people didn't hear.
Yeah. So, pro stock motorcycle. This is going to be one that's, I don't know. You think Gage Herrera's, the way he dominated last year, you don't see him any slowing down. Bet he doesn't have quite the success he does.
I think it'll be a little bit different this year.
Yeah, I think you're going to see, like we've had some of the guys like Jerry Savoy come up and could go toe-to-toe with him towards the end of the year on some of those races.
Yep.
So the way, especially in the motorcycles, you get one guy that's fast, they always end up hanging a little more weight on them or something stupid.
So, like Eddie Krawick for the longest time?
Yeah. So, so right now I got Gage Herrera, pro stock, Eric Enders. She won the shootout down here in Bradenton. It's hard to pick against her. Matt Hagan. I like Matt Hagan. I'm a Matt Hagan fan, so that's
he's jacked.
I picked him.
That dude is jacked.
Yeah, but the one thing is now we got Austin Prock running for
that'll
Robert
be interesting.
Mm-hmm. And Austin Prock did win the funny car race down in Bradenton.
Yeah, he wasn't too bad.
Yeah, so it didn't take him long, working with his dad, and I think his older brother is mechanics on the thing. But I got Hagan and and Doug Coletta. Got to go for an old sprint car guy, so I got Doug Coletta to start off the year.
Starting off mine, the first 2 are the same for me. Gage Herrera, until I'm proven otherwise, I'm going to pick him. And I think you'll see a lot of the team scrappers. I think Angie's back and healthy, so I think she's going to want a little bit revenge after getting hurt at the end of last year. Matt Smith, I think he'll be up there too. And why not Gianna? She started progressing the right way to the end of the year, so she's got a chance to get her first win this year.
Not to mention Mike Salinas, I believe, is in pro stock motorcycles now.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah.
He was testing. I think he's going to run pro stock motorcycles. So that might be a very interesting class this year.
That'll be a just fun competition between he and his daughter too. So, my funny car pick, though, you just mentioned him, got a big win down there in the exhibition race earlier this year. I've got Austin Prock for funny car to start off the year right, transitioning from Top Fuel to funny car. So that'll be interesting how he can do. And it's not bad equipment either. So I think he's got a good shot at it.
His dad would even get excited on the interview.
A little bit. And for one that's probably going to get excited on the interview, I got Brittany Force winning Top Fuel. All right, we're going into NASCAR. So as we always do for NASCAR, We are talking about our power rankings, then giving our fantasy stuff, and then getting into our picks. So going to Phoenix, obviously this is where they are finishing. They finished their year at the Championship 4 race. It's a good preview to what you need to bring. It's going to be similar weather because you're in the desert, and generally there's about the same weather between now and then November in Phoenix. Another shout out to a partner of ours that we've had for a while, W Energy. Link down below. Make sure you go to w.gg, use my promo code ZBHP, get 10% off your order. W Energy's got everything from energy supplements to hydration. They are working on some great stuff to possibly get canned drinks in the future. You don't want to miss it. Local U.S. business. Make sure you check them out. W.gg, promo code ZBHP, get 10% off your order. Back to the show. But our power rankings post Las Vegas heading into Phoenix. Let me give you my top 5 because I think you started off last week. So I'll go ahead with my top 5. Staying in the number 5 slot. Finished off the race strong, just outside the top 10. Got a win at Atlanta. I got Daniel Suarez at my number 5. Number 4, big bounce back from what could have been a catastrophic race at Las Vegas, finishing into the top 10. I've got William Byron, the Daytona 500 winner. Number 3, I've got the winner at Las Vegas, bringing him back into my top 5 power rankings. Kyle Larson's number 3. Number 2, another great consistent race out of him. I've got Martin Truex Jr. He had another top 10. And number 1, he's rolling this year. He's consistent. Ryan Blaney, number 1 in my power rankings. I can go ahead with yours.
We're close, a little bit different. This week, this guy's been fast all year. Hasn't had the finishes, quite the finishes, but I moved him into my top 5 for the first time. Number 5, I got Ross Chastain.
Mm-hmm. I was between him and his teammates. So
yeah. So at number 4, like you said, tough time with that trash bag. How that thing did not blow up. Luckily, they were saying that these electronic controlled engines will cut the power when they start getting real hot. So I think that might have been the saving grace for that thing. But I got William Byron at number 4. And at number 3, this guy was 1 inch from the wall for the last 10 laps. Running down Kyle Larson. Didn't quite get it done. But he's a big jump into my top 5. I got Tyler Reddick. He's been fast last couple weeks too. Number 2, I moved up 1 spot. I got Kyle Larson at number 2. And number 1, and like you said, consistent all year. Really the only fast Ford, Ryan Blaney.
All right. Before we start our fantasy picks and our Xfinity and Cup Series picks, of course, I want to get the trivia question because it kind of ties into Phoenix. So, for you, which 5 active Cup drivers have the best average finish in Phoenix over the last 3 seasons?
Wow.
And there is a tie, and there's kind of a tiebreaker for number 4 and 5.
I would like to think that Truex is probably in there.
He is not.
Wow. Okay. This might be a random one. Alex Bowman?
No.
I know he had some really good runs out there.
It's home track.
Kyle Busch?
No, actually, surprising not.
No. How about Larson? Because he's been
Larson's up there. He's number 4. He's got a 9.7 average finish with 1 win.
Wow. Joey Logano?
Joey Logano's number 2. He's got a 6.2 average finish with 1 win. Obviously, that was a championship.
Yeah. Let's see. Normally, I would have picked Harvick, but he's not there anymore.
He was number 2 if he was not active.
Wow. So somebody was better than Harvick there as far as the...
And he's active.
Wow. Oh, wow. Denny Hamlin?
Denny Hamlin's number 5 at 9.7. He does not have a win at Phoenix, though, over the last couple of years.
That's interesting. Well, let's see.
You got number 3 and number 1.
I don't believe it's Keselowski. We went through Richard Childress. How about Christopher Bell?
He is not.
Okay.
I think the bad finish last year, having that brake issue, probably took him out of that.
I'm going to need a little hint on this one.
Hendrick Camp.
William Byron?
William Byron, number 3.
Oh, he's 3?
9.0 with 1 win at Phoenix. And you're just missing number 1.
Is it Chase Elliott?
No, there's no more Hendrick.
Oh, okay, I didn't think it was.
This driver actually does not have a win at Phoenix over the last couple years, but he is so consistent. And we've talked about him being consistent.
Is it Ryan Blaney?
It's Ryan Blaney at 4.0 average.
That's right, because he did not win last year.
Not even close.
Chastain won last year.
Yeah. But Ryan Blaney's been the most consistent at Phoenix over the last 3 seasons, which explains why he won a championship there.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good one. All right, so going into
that's a little bit of a surprising list if you think about it.
All right, let's get into our fantasy lineups this week. I think it's your turn to go first. So who you got as your starters in fantasy for Phoenix?
Now, these guys are probably all crash because that seems to be my thing. But
I'm in the lead, by the way.
So
see, I know what I'm talking about.
So I got a couple of first timers in my top 5. I got 3 of them actually.
Mm-hmm.
So believe it or not, I have not had Ryan Blaney in yet. So I got Ryan Blaney, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Larson, Ross Chastain, William Byron, and in my garage I have Ty Gibbs.
All right.
So and in our featured matchups, we have Ryan Blaney versus Ross Chastain.
The interesting line.
Yeah, they got Blaney as a slight favorite, but I do have Blaney beating Chastain, even though they're both in my top 5. So then we have Denny Hamlin versus Chase Elliott, and I think this is a no-brainer. Chase Elliott just has not been fast.
Yeah.
So I got Denny Hamlin on that one. Kyle Busch and Christopher Bell. And like we talked, Christopher Bell really gets around Phoenix real well. So I do have Christopher Bell over Kyle Busch. And the last one is Ty Gibbs versus Alex Bowman. And Ty Gibbs has been fast all year. I don't see him slowing down, so I got Ty Gibbs on that one.
Well, the matchups, the only difference is the very last one you had. We all had the lineup the same, the matchups the same. So I actually had Alex Bowman over Ty Gibbs, hometown favorite. I'm going to go a little bit of an underdog there. But for my starters this week, all of them are brand new. I'm just trying to spread it out throughout the year because you got to think there's another 33 weeks left. So my starting lineup, same as you, I've got Ryan Blaney 4.0 average over the last couple years, defending series champion. So you got to have him in there. Guy that beat him last year, Ross Chastain, and you had him too. I think it's very smart. Trackhouse teammate, I've got Daniel Suarez. I think Trackhouse both will be pretty quick here. Pick. I'm going with hometown favorite. It's hometown favorite. Probably not the favorite for the race. Big underdog. Got Alex Bowman in my starting lineup. And this is a pretty big surprise. I put him in here because he does get around shorter tracks well. I got Josh Berry in that 4. That 4 car with Harvick was pretty good at Phoenix. So we'll see.
They got a pretty good setup.
They understand the track, and we'll see how he can transition to it. But in my garage, in case something catastrophic happens during the race, I've got Christopher Bell.
Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting lineup you got this week.
Like I said, I got
to be conservative since I suck every week.
Well, I'm being conservative in the fact that I don't want to use the same people every single week. So, all right. Let's get into our picks. Going into Phoenix Xfinity and Cup Series, obviously shout out to ARCA, Caleb Costner. Going to Phoenix for the very first time, pretty sharp paint scheme too. It's App State color, so I very much appreciate what that looks like. It's a pretty cool car. Xfinity, last time we were here, Cole Custer, Ryan Blaney won the Xfinity and Cup Series championship. So diving into Xfinity, I think it's pretty wide open right now this year.
Yeah, it's the junior motorsports cars seem to be struggling a little bit, which, if I remember correctly, they struggled a little bit beginning of the year last year.
And they finished strong.
Yeah, but Cole Custer has been fast all year. I think he got the pole last week, so I do have Cole Custer picked for my Xfinity race this week.
Okay, that's cool. That's what I have. Same reasons. I mean, you won it last year, been fast this year. You won a defending champion to run consistent. Car's good. I don't have any more. Cole Custer. All right, Cup Series, a lot different how you're going to race this race than the Xfinity cars. You're going to downshift 1, possibly 2 times going into these corners because flatter banking, especially turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, I like the Phoenix track, just the way they got that dog leg. They're going to be 4 or 5 wide going down through there on restarts. It's a neat, odd-shaped track, and actually, I think it puts more into the driver's hands than these bigger tracks. I always look forward to the Phoenix race.
I would loved how they changed how where 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are compared to the previously, because those restarts are awesome. Start finish line.
And it's a relatively short race. It's 312 laps, 312 miles. So things happen very quick there. So that's going to be a fun one. So low hanging fruit on this one. You just said he's number 1 in last few years. So I got Ryan Blaney.
Son of a bitch.
And Mom picks William Byron. So
okay, we're
not going too far up on the picking tree here.
I mean, I promise I wrote it down, so I'm not just copying off you. Yeah, I've got Ryan Blaney as well. So, I mean, I can't make ground up on you for that, but at least fantasy, I'm winning, and it makes me feel better that way.
Not much to make up ground. I only got one thing right so far. I got Larson winning last week.
Well, Mom has William Byron, you said, and he won it this race last year. So, yeah. All right. Well, I think that does it for this week. A lot of stuff to look forward to. Next week, get ready. We're going to go back to our top 5 random things that we do. So next week, our top 5, the top 5 racing video games of all time. How about that?
Oh, okay. I got some good ones on that one.
Yeah. There we go. All right. If y'all are listening to this on some sort of podcasting thing, you can share it, follow it anywhere you get your podcast, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Make sure you check out the YouTube channel for all the funny memes and random shit that I do. TikTok at ZB Media Productions. Go check that out. I obviously post some funny shit on there. Hey, some stuff's really doing well on that too. Some of the top 5 dirt tracks. A lot of people are really engaging on that. Some people get pissed off too. So you follow on that, hey, share it out.
Nobody's going to like everything the same way, so that's good. Tell us what you like, and tell us why you like it.
And so for the top 5 for next week, guys, you let me know what top 5 racing video games that you think are all time, and this is going back to whenever. So make sure you subscribe on the YouTube channel and share it all you want. Until next week, Dad, I will see you then.
All right, bye.